Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Product Analytics Sync of the new year of 23. Hope everyone that is watching this had a wonderful New Year's celebration and a good start to the new year. I'll kick us off by sharing my screen. Can everyone see it? Cool, getting some thumbs up. So let's walk through the build board. We have the first issue here. I don't know if we should go through the open issues first. What do you think, Dennis?
Yeah, we can cover those.
Okay.
I can speak to them since they're unassigned. So filters for dashboards, the date range is one of the first dashboard level controls we want to add to our dashboards. And so being able to do the query overrides and override what the widgets themselves or the panels, whatever we do end up calling them, to be able to determine a date range for the entire dashboard. So that one's definitely wanting to be targeted for this milestone, just to kind of be the first step for a number of other filters at that level. But we'll see where we're at in terms of capacity for that. But until then, I think it's still in solution validation. So we just have to make sure that we can properly estimate it and get it assigned. That is the old milestone planning issue. So I think we can probably just go ahead and skip that.
Yeah.
It's
Not
closed
sure why
now.
this is included. Okay, great.
Perfect. Thank you. And then we've got the implementation plan for product analytics export. This one's more for Max to explore at some point, but he's busy with funnel analysis. So which is the next one. So nice to get into that one.
I mentioned it later on the agenda, but I've been sort of, while Sam was out at the end of December, before I finished, sort of investigated how that might work, how we might allow users to define funnels and have that pulled dynamically into Cube. Made some nice progress. From an architectural point of view, I'm quite happy. From a in the weeds SQL query point of view, there's some large kinks that need to be ironed out, which I think would be putting it mildly. But in terms of a fundamental point of view, I think that looks good. The thing I'm missing now is what the issue suggests is the needs. I could build something cool, but if it doesn't fit what we're actually expecting to see from a customer point of view, then it's kind of worthless. So I'm hoping over the next week or so to maybe hammer that out with Sam possibly and understand what the actual problem to be solved is.
Yeah, that'd be good. Do we have like questions written down in an issue already, Max, from when I was out that I'll see in my pings, or do you and I want to maybe set something
only
up?
What's in that issue right now? It was more of a sort of technical dive I've done rather than anything else, from hopefully stuff that will be useful regardless of what we end up building. But yeah, it would be good to understand exactly what you're envisaging as well, I guess.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I wrote some of that down in either an epic or an issue, so I'll see if I can find that.
Cool.
And if that's not sufficient, we can always hop on a call or do something async as well.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. Then the next one we have is add a button to go back to the tracking view from the dashboard listing. This is blocked by, I think, Axel's issue to actually add the tracking view. Once we have that, then we can add that button. And then Dennis, you have the next blocked one. Don't know if there's anything to say about add support for pre-aggregation around users' anonymous ID.
Yeah, I think this was something that I was working with Max on. I don't know if there's anything else to be done at this point.
I don't think this is blocked. I'm pretty sure this is complete.
Yeah, I think this is done, but I since it's assigned to me, I'll double check it offline and sort it afterwards. But I would agree with Max that I think that's complete.
Okay, cool. I mean, it is from a year ago, so it's a long time. That was my dad joke for the year. Cool. In development, we have internal preview audience for the audience dashboard. I think this has pretty much been built out, but I think this is just about the polish and making sure that everything's done for this, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, I believe we might want to, I think Tim wanted to close this out and then create follow-ups for this, but I'll just double check on that. I don't know actually if the merge request has already been merged as well. But I do know behavior still has a couple more steps in order to actually reach to achieve all the visualizations that we wanted for the behavior dashboard. But without jumping too far ahead, I think audience is, I'll have to follow up on that, especially since there's no assignee.
I'm gonna assign this one to Tim, since he's the main person that's working with, or should I assign it to you?
You can do both.
Cool. And then the next one, you said there's still some work left to be done here.
Yeah, we're missing a couple things for the single stat. I think it's I can't remember exactly what it is. The custom events, and that's part of because we aren't tracking any custom events in any of our instrumentation currently. So we'll have to work on that.
Is that stuff that I need to build into the schema, or is that just stuff that hasn't been added to the dashboard yet?
I think, yeah, because I don't know that we have a custom. I can't remember if we've already added a custom event type to our schema or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's one built in there. Like we only have page views at the moment, but I think there's
Right.
an event type in ClickHouse that we can query.
Yeah, so I think we'll have to build something into it for sure. Just yeah, that'll be part of determining the schema for that. Or I guess we would add new actions and filter based off of what's not a page view. But I think that's a question we'll have to figure out, at least for this version of the schema. So I guess the answer to your question is yes, we will likely have to update the schema.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, then Dennis, you have the next two as well.
Yes, so this one is the stack integration. Unfortunately, I felt ill before the holidays, so I wasn't able to complete the feature flag activation. This is the integration of the internal handbook repository with our analytics stack. We got through staging, and then we found out that the feature flags were a little bit mixed up, and so we sorted that out, and we just have to, or I just have to reactivate them properly for staging, make sure everything's still okay, and then we can get, I can give the go ahead to John Jarvis to finish the steps for production, and we should be good to go there. That said, we already are collecting events, so this is more of for once we finally do get the dashboards merged into, if they're not already merged, then we can start viewing them for the internal dashboard project. So hopefully that will get resolved in the next day or so.
Cool.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah,
this one's just a demo GitLab instance, which it's definitely a lower priority right now for me. So I have the instance installed, but I still have to do some networking fun just to make sure it's like available for us to actually use. But nothing has really moved here in the past few weeks.
Sorry, I was looking for my unmute button. Max, you have the next one.
Yeah, I've not touched this since I started back this morning. I will get to it in this milestone. It's not a massive priority. Bearing in mind we're the only customers of this feature anyway right now. So I'll get to it, but it's not a huge priority.
Cool. Then the two items in review here are from Axel. I can speak to these. The tracking codes view is pretty much built, but how it connects to the main application is something that I spoke to Axel that we need to change. So he's working on a follow-up to basically change just how we handle transitioning to the new pages and how we like save the state in the front end. The other one, I think this is in maintain review. This is getting the single stat value from the defined measure. I think this is just to improve how our single stats get displayed once you've defined what it's measuring. So this seems to be running along smoothly. This is kind of tied to the first issue here, the tracking codes view. So this is what I'm working on that I took over from Rob. Is the first initial page that you see. It's that empty state that says you don't have any product analytics set up in this project. There's a setup button. It does some loading. It fires off the backend call to actually create the whole tracking in Jitsu, and then reports back once it's done. So the next step is once the follow-up in the first issue here is done, where I can then set an event to transition to that page. So a long way of saying it's in review, it's almost done, and yeah, it's going well. Then we can look at closed issues. I don't know if there's going to be any for this milestone, but I can look if there's a bookmark. Dashboard list of issues. So this one here from Axel is the only closed issue that we have for now. It is fix the method to get grid attributes on PA dashboards. I'm not actually sure what this was. Oh, it was a fallout for me. Cool. Then I'll add that bookmark. And on to the next agenda item, Sam.
Yeah, so I wanted to signal boost a merge request that I put in probably the last week before I headed out on vacation. We didn't really get a chance to talk about it, but it's linked in the agenda, and it's about the cross-stage data vision. And what this page is really trying to articulate is a vision around how the analytics section should really become the single source of truth for anyone that's trying to send data into GitLab, as well as consume GitLab related data from GitLab. This is so that folks don't necessarily build the exact same thing multiple times in different functional groups or as customers, just because they're unaware of what other functional groups have done. There's quite a bit there, so please take a read through it when you get a chance. Would love to have questions, feedback, discussion, as well as edits to it if we want to make some changes. Happy to, if there's any sync comments now, or we can talk asynchronously once you've had a chance to read through it. And if not, Max, you've got the next one.
Yeah, I think I've kind of already spoken about this, but there's a link to the screencast I mentioned a minute ago about how sort of I foresee funnels could work, and how we would create dynamic cube schemas. Feel free to have a watch and ask any questions you've got. I'm going to try and sort of expand on it slightly today and tomorrow, see how much further we get.
Cool. Yeah, my question, just to vocalize it for the recording, was in the demo, Max, you were showing that there's a time to convert parameter, and I was curious if that's for the entirety of the funnel or the time between different steps.
Yeah, so that's the entirety of the funnel. So someone can close their session and come back and complete the funnel later. If we want to add time between steps, that's definitely something we could do. It may be beyond my SQL query skills right now, but it's well within the bounds of possibility, I think.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's probably good for now. If we get feedback that we need something a little more granular, we can address that later.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. And I think I have the final point. This is like more of a question for Sam, but just for like the group in general. We did have a quarterly goal to try to make steps towards instrumenting the GitLab project for GitLab team members as part of our internal preview. So we've achieved our first milestone there with the internal handbook, but then we want to go a little bit further out there. I believe, Sam, we've worked on like a communication plan just from like a general sense in terms of like getting more external with our announcements and things like that. I just wanted to follow up on that, and if you need time to refresh yourself on that, then that's totally fine. But I was curious if we have any more like drafts that we need to review or start looking at for specific to this part of the rollout.
Right. So my thinking for the people that work at GitLab, so internal GitLab folks, we can follow a pretty similar path to what we did for the internal handbook. It's really what we want to and need to do for external people that use the GitLab project. So what I was thinking about before was some sort of blog to communicate basically what we had in the internal Slack message, but as a blog post. And I believe we also needed to work with legal on our, was it OneTrust, to get the cookie consent or something around there updated. I haven't spent any time on that recently though, so not sure what we would need to do there specifically.
Yeah, I think we can kind of have, so whether it's run trust or not, I do believe that's the long-term goal, is that we can bring that into the product itself, since we're using that outside of the product. But some type of consent in or opt in and out mechanism at least for the team members, and then whatever that will look like for external users as well, can be developed while we figure out what our communication plan is going to be. But it sounds like for at least for the team members, as part of this rollout, we'll just continue to follow what we're doing, what we did previously. Did I understand that correctly?
That would be, yeah, that'd be my expectation unless we hear different from legal. Because do we have the ability to segment, say you are Sam and you work at GitLab, so we'll track you versus you're anonymous, we won't look at you, or you're a community contributor, we're not going to look at you. I don't remember if we have that ability.
No. We can segment by project and by group and by user. So we could turn it on for a subset of users, but I think turning it on for all GitLab team members might be a bit of a stretch.
2600 arguments and the feature flag change.
Yeah, we can turn it on for the project, but then you end up with tracking anyone who's accessed the open source project.
Right. I wonder if what we could do as a small step then is just add our group to the users that get tracked. Because that wouldn't be all 2,000 employees, it'd be, you know, around a dozen or so.
Oh, you mean our group, as in
product analytics group.
Yeah, I mean that would absolutely work as a first step. It would then affect anything that any of us did on any project within GitLab, as opposed to just the GitLab project. But that's
okay.
I'm okay with that. I don't know what other legal issues there are there.
I mean, as far as I can remember, I mean, yeah, we'll still have to double check, and we should anyways, kind of double sync up with legal on this part of the rollout. But I think similar reasons for the internal handbook mixed in with the consent model that we have to is still to be determined, but also the small group, it should be relatively okay.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, the data belongs to the user, regardless of the project it's on. So as long as the user, i.e. we, are consenting, then that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, that'll be a bundle of fun, but that'll be part of understanding what OneTrust can and can't do as far as opting in and out based on where we're coming from.
Right.
All right, cool. But that answers my original question.
Cool.
All right. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to discuss? Well, then it's good to see everyone in the year. Oh, Sam.
I was just saying I'm good.
Okay, cool. Well, it's good to see everyone. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. And if there's nothing else, then we'll see you in the next call.
Talk soon. See ya.
Take care. Bye.
Folks.